Hey, witches.
Hi, hello, welcome back to 2024 year in review. Sorry.
We're gonna be all right.
Mm.
So this is our review of our tarot pulls, our monthly tarot cards from last year, or this year, I guess, technically. Well, by the time you're listening to this, it might be last year. I don't know. 2024.
Whatever year you're fucking in right now, this is the review for our 2024.
Yes. So we're gonna talk about the cards we pulled last year, the predictions we made, what actually happened. And then we're going to pull our card for that month of next year, but we're not going to talk about it yet. We're just going to pull the card. You have to wait till next episode to listen to what that card means and all of that.
Yay, yeah.
So last year I used the Witches Tarot deck, which I don't have with me right now. But this year I will be using a different deck. I'm going to be using my Learning Tarot Cards deck from Witchy Cauldron. I got it on the TikTok shop, and it is phenomenal for anyone who is not, or who is learning tarot.
I was going to do my dark version, but I don't understand it a lot because it doesn't make any sense. Like the other ones are like, oh, that's definitely the Queen of Cups, kind of whatever. This one is, it's just weird. And I was like, no, I'll just use the one I used last year. I don't care.
Okay.
So, Brandy, how was your January?
So January 2024, my cards said that it was going to be comfort, harmony, peace, love, needs and wishes being fulfilled. I didn't really make any predictions because if you'll recall last year in December, I was contemplating leaving the job that I was in and moving to a different job, a whole different career, honestly. But by January, I did do that. I left my classroom. I will never go back, at least not in public school. And I started my new job and felt super at peace. My wish of finding a new career where I could make a difference but not lose myself, basically have a happy work-life balance, happened. I was stressed because it was new and, don't like change. But I was relieved and happy to be in a better space. So mine was quite accurate.
Okay. So I had the Fool reversed.
I remember I listened to that episode not too long ago. Your 2024 wasn't shaping up to be a great year.
No, it wasn't. So I had the Fool reversed. A reversed Fool card can show that you are living in the moment and not planning for the future. So I went into the year very, very optimistic. I had my goals and ideas on what I wanted for the new year. But yeah, that didn't happen. I got over enthusiastic at work and I played the You Can't Touch Me card. And that backfired on me. Not like I was fired or anything like that. It's just like I thought I was doing. That was fucking weird. My phone just fell. It. I just got humbled a lot in January. It seems I felt like that's okay. Sometimes when you're too big for your britches, you gotta humble yourself some way. And you know what? I did humble myself, and I realigned. when I needed to. Oh,
So I drew my next card, my card for January 2025. Again, we're not going to go over the meanings and all of that in this episode, but I got the Four of Cups reversed.
seems like you could be spilling something. My cards are giant, so I'm trying to try my hardest to, do what I can with shuffling them. So give me a second while I do this the best way I know how. Okay, this one won't go away. I guess I technically covered it like this. So I got the Two of Swords reversed.
Okay. February 2024, I had the Moon reversed, which is like confusion, unhappiness, misinterpreting feelings, needing clarity about things that are happening, especially regarding finances and work, and paying attention to your shadow self. I said my prediction was I would need to pay attention to my shadow self and do some work, like internal work. In February, I was having some health issues. I didn't have a new doctor yet because I had just got a new job. My insurance hadn't kicked in and all of these things. And then when I started to try to get a new doctor, they didn't have appointments for like 20 years. And I was burning myself out because I was doing too much and not taking care of myself, not listening to my body. And I did not listen to this card and do that shadow work and listen to what my body was telling me. I did start to burn myself out and I got sick. So
yeah, you did. That was a rough time.
It was.
Okay, so my February, I received the Emperor reversed. So the Emperor reversed is essentially a lack of self-control and the ability to handle situations, or inability to handle situations can be represented by this card on like the personal level. So when reversed, the structures, the rules, and systems that he creates are no longer working. So yeah. I needed more than February to be a good month for me financially. I was doing really well with saving and keeping any leftover money from my check to put into my savings, paying off bills. I was trying really, really hard. I didn't have any self-control this month. I would sit there and say, it's my birthday month. And that's probably why. I just felt like treating myself kind of thing. And I bought a lot of things that I should have spread out. It was unreasonable amount of shit that I spent. And it could have been, saved for what March brought me. And it wasn't, so far, my year was not good.
So I went ahead and drew my February 2025 card, and it is the Two of Cups. It is also reversed.
I picked mine, and it is the Four of Pentacles.
March of 2024, I had the Four of Pentacles.
What?
Is all about accomplishing goals, obtaining material wealth, potential to make you a greedy person, so be aware. I just said that I would need to stay aware. In March, I was feeling good about my new job. I was thinking about going back to school, to get ready to move up in the company. I was ready to do all the things and be all the things and professional develop myself right into a higher role.
You were in the same job that you're in now, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I was still, it was only my third month and I was getting ahead of myself. I didn't fully know how to do my role, and I was trying to prepare to move up, and I needed to slow down, and focus on where I was before I tried to move ahead. So I did have that self-awareness that month, and chilled out a little bit and stepped back and started focusing on the current position that I was in. That was my March of 2024. Wasn't bad, but it was like needed some to calm down and be a little more self-aware.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So, huh? Oh, did something pop out at you?
I had 2 cards drop for April. Anyway, go ahead.
So March, I had the 8 of Swords, and you know what? Kind of thinking back on it, I'm like, damn, 8 of Swords. I felt like I was like, I feel like that many swords. I feel like you're being stabbed. You know, like
Yeah.
gutted. But the general meaning in the 8 of Swords is that of a feeling of being trapped and victimized. So you may feel powerless because in your mind you feel that changing the situation might be beyond you. It's a feeling of helplessness that you have, the feeling that you have no agency in your life, or that it has significantly made a situation worse. So first day of March, I ended up in the hospital. Not like admitted or anything like that. I was having some crazy dizzy spells. I had seen my doctor. I had seen a therapist or a physical therapist, thinking like it was like vertigo. I felt very drunk and unsteady all the time. I would get so nauseous. I would because the world was just spinning. It's like when you are drunk, and like the world, not that you're like seeing double, but like the world moves and like blur. That's kind of what I was seeing 24/7. I could wake up seeing that. Like I could be the most sober person in the world and I would feel completely and utterly drunk. And you know, I lost my appetite for a while because you're, you know, when you're nauseous like that, you like don't. Damn, I got 4 cards for this next month.
Oh shit.
And so it was just like, it was terrible. Like I couldn't work. I worked at a retail job. You always had to be on your feet. You always had to be picking something up. It would eventually like go away, but then it would come back again. So, and this was like before March. I found a quick fix with Sudafed, specifically the over-the-counter stuff, the stuff that's like you have to sign your, not over-the-counter, stuff you have to get through the pharmacy because like you have to sign your life away, all that whatever. But the reason why it's, you know, you have to sign your life away is because it's so fucking addicting and it's used in meth. So, but that's the only thing that could make my life better. So, fuck, I was sick and I was going through withdrawals of Sudafed. So it wasn't ideal. It sucked. But it got to the point where I couldn't handle it anymore. I ended up going to the hospital, and I hate going to the hospital. I hate going to urgent care. I hate anything to do with any of that. You know, trauma. But I finally stopped trying to fix myself. And I went to the ER. After thinking of all of the possibilities, the scary everything, I was told to go to a neurologist and to an ENT to see what was going on. So I went to the ENT and ultimately got diagnosed with vestibular migraines. So it's like inner ear migraines, which is not a typical migraine. You get auras, yes, but it's more of like vertigo symptoms with like a pulsating like pain. So every single migraine I ever had in my entire fucking life made all the sense in the world. So yeah, that was fun. So I threw my all into caring for like I just felt like I couldn't handle the situation because I didn't know what else to do. So the Eight of Swords saying that like you feel trapped. I kind of felt like that. Like I was trying with quick fixes just to get through the month because I was not feeling the best, and then like Will decided like I need to go to the hospital because it's getting bad. And it's getting to the point where I'm like missing work and it was debilitating. So I'm glad I went because honestly, I felt great. I still get headaches here and there, but it's not as bad.
My April 2025 cards, I had 2 jump from the deck when I was shuffling. It's going to be 10 of Cups and upright and 5 of Wands reversed, which actually go together very well. So I'm excited to talk about
that. So I had one that like fell when I was popping through, and it ended up having 4 in there. I was just gonna take the first 2, but then I was like, I should probably take all of them.
Oh yeah, the universe is trying to tell you something.
Yeah. So the first one is Ace of Swords reversed. And the second one is Strength, not reversed, so upright.
Also, I said April, but I meant March. March 2025.
I didn't catch that, so I guess you're good. The next one is, honestly, I don't like it because it's 10 fucking swords in the back of a dude.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
It's reversed though, so it's opposite, right? So, reverse 10 of swords. And then I have, is this reversed? Yeah. Reverse 10 of pentacles. Man, I got a lot of 10s.
Okay. April 2024. I had the 4 of Cups reversed. Which typically is a card that is signaling the desire for a new start. Understanding that life isn't perfect, but it can still be beautiful. Embracing new situations and people, and actively participating in life. Which continues very well from what I said for March. I was working on getting more comfortable in the position I was in and appreciating that rather than trying to move up and getting ahead of myself. I really threw myself into learning how to be the best at what I was currently doing, and embracing the people that I had, which was hard because I felt at the time like I did not fit in with the people in my building, and I was not entirely wrong, but I had to work on like letting go of wanting them to like me and focus on gaining their respect, which was the more important part. I did have a person come into my life in April, really in March, but towards the end of March, that in my work life that ends up causing a lot of strife, a lot of drama, but at this point, when she first came into my life, she was a very positive influence and force. So I guess just embracing that, as she helped me embrace my full self and be my full self at work instead of putting on a persona. So that was my April 2024.
Yeah. My April was the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is a tarot card that symbolizes great hope, even when one is faced with many problems that threaten to make them lose their balance. The Knight of Wands symbolizes one's life, which has undergone too many trials, but through their determination and will, they overcame them. And god damn it, work was overwhelming me at that point. It was emotionally draining me. And I was feeling like all of the failure in the world. Like, I felt like nothing I was doing was right. Everything I was doing, all of the mistakes and the decisions I made for the like my position, for whatever, I felt like it wasn't good enough. And honestly, I didn't have any support. Now, there is, I'm not saying that like I didn't have any support from my friends, from my like partner, from family, like all of that. What I'm saying is like the support I needed at work, I wasn't finding. And it wasn't whether it was, support from my higher ups, support from corporate, all of those things, it just wasn't happening. I had some support, but it wasn't enough, So, I just felt like a failure. I felt like I was upset all the time. I like hated going into work. I just didn't feel like I should be there anymore. And I still kind of feel like that. Like, I'm glad the person that took my position over, like, is a much better person, at the position. She's also was in the job before me, again, like at a different location. And then she like stepped down to go someplace else. And then she just stayed part-time, but she like brought that knowledge of working in like a couple of other stores with her. So she had like a better idea on how to do it, but I was just like thrown into the position with like no help, no training, no nothing. And like that's kind of how it was. I continued to get no help or no training, no nothing like that. So I was crying a lot. I was just worrying about everything. And I felt like with my diagnosis, I should probably take a step back and maybe look for other jobs, because like my idea of climbing the hierarchy in the company wasn't happening. The company was changing. I just didn't like it. So I started looking for new jobs. And the one person that I thought I trusted the most at my old job, I was like, oh, this is why. This bitch is the cause of all my issues. And I realized it. So when I started applying for the jobs, I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think I was going to get anything. And I ended up getting it. My new boss took a chance on me, of never being able, or like never being in like, the housing area or job market. My resume looked like I had jumped from, not company, but like I went from child
Field to
services.
field, yeah.
Yeah. I went from child services to autism. I stayed in autism to school, and then I went from school to home-based therapy, and then I went from home-based therapy to like retail, all of those things. So like the fact that she took a chance on me, like I really appreciate it. And she's a really cool fucking person, and I just felt great about it. And the further and further down the rabbit hole I got of bullshit at PetSmart, I was like, yep, my rose-colored glasses like finally came off, and I just saw everything for what it was, and I grew because of that. I'm a more of a I'm not as gullible in the work field as I am. Like, I see things start earlier than ever before. And I mean, I've learned, but it kind of sucks, don't it?
Yeah.
So, but
There's a baby here demanding attention. That's why I was.
hi, baby.
Hi, Odie.
Which baby is it?
It's Odin.
Oh, I was gonna say, is Odie the baby, or is it Chaos?
It's Odie. Hi, baby.
I love that you have a dog named Odin and a cat named Chaos, because it's so it's such a perfect like name for their personalities. It's just funny because like Odin brought chaos, and it's just great. Now you just need another animal named Ragnarok, and it'd be hilarious. Naki.
So I had 3 cards jump for April 2025.
Damn.
One of them was the Knight of Cups upright, the Sun reversed, and King of Wands reversed. So,
Dun dun dun.
yeah, accurate.
Yeah, maybe I should have gotten a different card set, because let me tell you, these big ass cards in my tiny little ass hands is struggling.
These cards are not like deck of card size, but they're not huge either. They're like a decent size. They're about the same size as my hand, or well, a little smaller than my hand.
Hold on, I'm just gonna not shuffle them.
Yeah, those are
The
huge.
size of my hand. I got the Temperance reversed. I feel like I got Temperance reversed in my current year somewhere.
Yeah, my May is Knight of Cups, which I just had for April of next year. So, yeah, so Knight of Cups is about being in touch with your emotions and intuition, using them for your well-being. It can be a person or an event that is like your ideal, like, so if it were a question about love, it would be like your ideal partner or your ideal boss. Like, it's a good person in your life. And typically in a situation with this person, if when faced with a decision, you're going to listen to this person, or you're going to listen to your heart, whether it's a logical choice or not.
Listen to your heart when she's calling for you.
My prediction last year when I pulled this card was that if I hadn't already gotten a new job, maybe I would be getting a new job in May. Obviously, at that point, I had already switched careers and gotten my new job. I definitely had a person in my work life that was giving me an emotional benefit. That person I mentioned from the last month. I had a new coworker who allowed me to be more outgoing with my spiritual path and encouraged me. And she gave me the confidence to be my full authentic self, which allowed me to grow into my role a little bit more.
Is this the person that like caused a lot of shit at work and left?
Yep.
So I thought.
Yep. It sure is.
Yeah.
But like, not all was bad. Like, there was a lot of good things she did at work, a lot of good things she did for me personally before things started to hit the fan. And so at this point, we're still in the good.
May. I was like, where are we at? May. 6 of Wands reversed. 6 of Wands reversed typically signifies like a lack of recognition for your achievements, a setback in your progress, or a feeling of not receiving the praise or validation you deserve for your efforts. This could potentially lead to discouragement and disappointment. It suggests a fall from grace where your success isn't being acknowledged as it should be. Well, May, I started my new job. And I, again, coming from April, didn't realize how much shit was getting thrown my way at my old job until like I left and I saw the downfall of it all. I saw like how much of a buffer I was for people. I saw that I was essentially the people that I supported people and I helped them do certain things or be certain ways or whatever, and I wasn't there to do that anymore. I protected people from like wraths. I did extra jobs for people so that like they weren't overwhelmed. So like I took everything onto my plate is essentially what happened. And then all of that shit talking that was happening, it turned towards me. And the people who put me in that situation essentially blamed me for everything that was happening, even though it's them. So all of my efforts and everything that I did to assist for anybody, it got thrown back in my face because of this one person who actually caused me to leave. Despite, you know, everything. So I started my new job. I saw everything for what it was, and I like you could tell I acted better than everybody. Not better than everybody, but like I was just happier. I was just really excited about my new job, and I just like wanted to tell everybody like, yeah, I was told I could get a new fish tank or for the place. I was told I could do this or I was told I could do that, and I was like really excited about it all. And that probably came across as if I was like better than them, but oh well. I saw the bullshit that was, and I was over it. So that was my May.
My card for May 2025 is the Star, and she is upright.
You're a star.
Shine bright, shine far where you live, where you are, be a star.
That life size?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. My May. I was like,
what am I doing? What's happening?
what month are we on? My May is, sorry, I'm trying to pick. You're not jumping out at me anymore. What the fuck is this? Cups. Those are cups. They look like bouquets for a second. They did though. Like, hold on, look at that. I thought they were bouquets. Because that's a, I guess a guy and then a girl and then a cup, but it looks like flowers.
I see it.
Anyway, so I got the 6 of Cups. Upright.
Thanks. My June of 2024, I had the 7 of Cups. Which is about looking for clarity, needing to see the shadows, be careful of wishful thinking, great to have dreams, but need to take actions to create those dreams, and to separate what is real from what is not so I can make informed choices. I talked about my passion word for the school year being proactivity and how that seemed like it could go with this card. And I needed to focus and be proactive to make what I wanted happen. This month was when shit started to hit the fan. There had been drama between 2 people. As the supervisor, I was unfortunately caught in the middle. But I was perceived to be on the wrong side of the disagreement. because I was taking someone's word for what was happening instead of really looking at the situation and the facts and making a logical inferences about the situation. I really had to dig deep and start looking at those facts and start listening to both sides of the story, listening to witnesses to certain happenings, and making informed choices that were definitely not easy to make in order to do what was right and align with my ethical standards. I feel like I am still um, dealing with some of the fallout from that and still earning back trust from people whose trust I lost during the situation. Um, so I think that it started out very much me having wishful thinking and all of that, but I quickly realized that that was the case and started to like backtrack a little bit to fix or to escape the situation that I was in.
Yeah. So my June was the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is a mature, instinctual woman who embodies love, kindness, and sensitivity. When this card appears in a tarot reading, it often suggests the presence of a supportive and caring person in your life. Here's the thing, though. I feel like I was the Queen of Cups in June. Mainly because I had a friend from PetSmart who, like, at first I thought she was the problem. I just thought, like, she's burnt out. She just doesn't want to do this anymore. She's terrible at this. She's terrible at that. That was because of the person kind of morphing my brain into thinking that. And then once the rose-colored glasses came off and I started, like... Damn, that was loud. That was right outside my door. When all of that started happening, I started seeing that, like, my friend was just getting the shit end of the deal. So, I think I was that supportive and caring person to my friend, because, she was just in a rough situation. Everything was just not going well for her. And it made her look bad at every turn during every single shift. There'd be like things that she would be told to do by one of the supervisors, and then another supervisor would come by and add like 8 more things onto it. But she was more scared of the second supervisor than the first one. So she would focus on other things that needed to get done, even though those things were her job, not my friend's. So she was getting depressed, she was sad, all of that. So I told her to look for other positions and I'd help her with her resume. So I essentially made her resume. I told her about a job at my place that was hiring. It was an outside job. It would pay more than what she's currently getting paid. But they would, this could help her get, different types of, experience. She would be a maintenance technician or a porter, so she would essentially be cleaning, but like she could learn some basic property, cleaning management kind of stuff, groundwork, if you will, and she can learn some things here and there along the way. And I thought this would help her either get out of the situation, and get some, good experience, and it would help her do other things. So I helped her apply and all of that. She got the job. She started seeing her worth. She was getting praised more than berated at this new place. She was doing really well. She was taking on all kinds of jobs, all kinds of work, and getting it done. Whereas before, that wasn't the case. And she saw that the place we used to be was more toxic than current. And she I don't know, she just got happier. Things about her changed. And she actually saw this recently. Not that like job has been toxic, but like the person, there's been some like negativity happening in like my job area amongst some of us, and she actually saw it and noticed it and had put in a formal request to change positions. Not positions, but like properties. And she did it by herself. Like, she was not necessarily urged by other people, but she started making her like annoyance and concerns more available and out there. And then she saw that this opportunity came up and she immediately took it without like a second glance. So I'm proud of her for taking that step and that goal of going to a new place that is hopefully less toxic to her than where we're currently at. And it's really nice because like she worked her ass off all summer long in the fucking heat doing like hand cleaning stuff because shit just was dirty and not like great. And then somebody who didn't do any of the work took all of the credit, and that like really pissed her off because she was out there for like 8 hours in the like 100-degree heat, hand scrubbing 12 buildings, 3 floors each, like scrubbing the floors on top of like doing everything else too. So like that really pissed her off, and she saw how annoying that was. And yeah, so then she saw this pop up. She was like, I'm taking it, bye. And I was like, I'm so proud.
Awesome. Well, my card for June 2025 that I pulled is Strength, and she is upright.
My July?
June.
Sorry. I'm getting really discombobulated. My June, I got 2. I got the 10 of Cups reversed and the Nine of Swords upright, which I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to take a look at these cards again, and like some people are always like, just look at the card and make a prediction based off the card and like how it makes you feel. And I think because I'm getting more comfortable in my spirituality, it's being easier instead of just staring at it and like wanting to go look at something. But I was like staring at it and I was like, I don't like the look of those. So I'm curious what the meeting is.
Yeah.
To like what technically it is before. Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay, July 2024, I had the 5 of Cups. This was not a positive card. I have work to be done, dwelling in the past, wallowing in self-pity and regret, worrying that I made the wrong decision, dwelling on the past. I need to stop worrying about what has happened and focus on moving forward. Holy shit. This month, July 2024, is when all of that work drama that we were discussing before really came to a head. I got my boss involved because I felt like I was in over my head, and I felt like I was a little bit biased in the situation. I got HR involved because I felt like I should have stepped into the situation before I did. And so I had to start making moves to correct my inaction from the previous months. I was dwelling on it, regretting a hiring choice that I had made. And then the choice that came after that hiring choice, because I had felt a connection with this person. And then I formed a friendship with that person, which gave me those rose-colored glasses. I was listening to them and thinking that they were doing all of the right things. Basically favoring them over another person, and I let a negative situation go on for way too long. And I kind of realized that I got more information about the situation, and was able to start moving forward and making decisions and taking action to correct the situation, and putting it behind me to move forward. and I started working on mending the relationships that were destroyed by the situation. Um, and this, from there, things started to slowly improve at work, but it took a lot of work and intentionality on my part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been very work centric this year. I've been very focused on my job and my career. Um,
Well, you did say that that's what you needed to do in January or February.
yeah. And the next couple months, as we keep going, um, some more personal things start to eke in. And I think those personal things made me throw myself even more into work because they're not necessarily the most positive. So I think that's kind of where that came from too. But that was my
Yeah.
July of 2024.
So my July is Temperance reversed, which makes me think my next April I need to focus a little more on you know, the imbalance in my life and maybe work on organization and all of that. But temperance reverse means it's like it can indicate like a lack of restraint, excess, or imbalance in your life. Sorry, you're on my third screen, which is like over here. And then my new one's over here on this screen, and then I'm like reading my stuff from my middle screen. So I'm like looking everywhere. But anyway, so July was a very rough month for me. It was just a lot, and I would say this was more career focused than anything. Because I got casted in a podcast project called Leo Braun. And it was one of those, like, I didn't even audition. Well, I auditioned, but it was one of those, like, this guy was on a Facebook group, voice acting Facebook group, and was like, hey, I am looking for people who are interested in doing this. It's not paid. It's just like, a starting project. And I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm interested. How do I do this? And they're like, oh, go ahead and email this here, and whatever voice files you have. And I was like, all right, cool. So I had a very shitty voiceover reel that needed hella updating, and I was like, well, this is as good as it's gonna get for right now. So I sent it to him. I got casted in that, and I got real excited. I threw all of my effort into, being what's best for him and his like show. And I got a lot of confidence from that. So I ended up auditioning for a lot of things, and I got very overwhelmed because I got casted in a few things, and I also picked up some extra stuff for the one guy, and I ended up working full time, doing my own personal podcast, getting hella involved in acting, and I also had a second time, like, part-time job. And I was also still like struggling with like my physical health and like mental health struggle, because like the medicine I had to go on for my vestibular migraines was like a whole new like antidepressant, anti-anxiety med. And I had to stop taking my other one. So I was like up and down with emotions, because I was like 3 months in on my drugs. So like everything was starting to like level out. But I had to go through the ups and downs before I could do that, on top of getting casted and stuff, working 2 jobs and doing like personal endeavors. So like, and I didn't say no to anything. I just took it all on because I don't know how to say no. So I got overwhelmed real fast. So I definitely had a lack of restraint in July.
Yeah. So
wait, was July the time I also went to Tennessee, or was that last year?
feel like that was last year.
Okay, go ahead.
My July
yeah.
2025 is the Fool reversed. So that'll be fun.
That's hilarious. My July is the Ten of Swords reversed.
Okay.
And honestly, looking at June and July and looking at the cards and just seeing like the pictures of the cards, I'm like, that's terrifying. I'll explain it to you when we're done.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going to talk about it in another episode. So
sure.
August 2024, I had the 10 of Pentacles reversed, which is a warning to not be too focused on the here and now and to look forward. Don't put too much into short-term success and harm your long-term potential. So basically look at the big picture. August was a whirlwind. It was a crazy time. It was back to school. Work was super busy. My grandma passed away at the beginning of that month. We were coming up on our vacation and planning and prepping for that. I ended up having to buy a new car in August, ended up selling my old one to my mother-in-law. A lot happened. But I do feel like I did a good job listening to this card and looking at the big picture. We really Brittany and I sat down and planned things out when things happened. When things happened with my grandma, we planned out how I was going to use my bereavement days in order to be most effective, to be able to help my mom and go to the funeral, but still not let things fall apart in my absence at work. Then when my car started having issues right before we were about to take a 14-hour one-way road trip, we sat down and looked at that. Was it going to be worth it to fix my car? Or should we just look at getting a new car? And the timing all kind of aligned. The universe really aligned things because at the same time, Brittany's mom's car was totaled and she needed a new car. So I was able to sell her my car and buy myself a new car, and make just putting everything together and being able to make an informed choice, ended up benefiting us in multiple ways, but also ended up benefiting a family member. It was a very sad and hard and crazy month, but the way that the universe put everything together and allowed us to be, I don't know. It ended up being a crazy month, but also we were able to look at the big picture and make the best decisions that we could with what we had. So
it's good.
Yeah.
So August, I had the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is a meaning of sadness and loss. And excuse me. Disappointment over past events. It can also signify a tendency to focus on negative emotions or being blind to a good situation, to the good in a situation. So this month I ended up cut out a friendship during this month. So somebody who I thought was a really good friend of mine, very supportive and there for everything. I was supportive for them and their endeavors for everything. They didn't have the best mental health. They didn't have the best relationship with their parents. So I was, trying to be there for them. And during this month, this was kind of the end of the cycle of up and down, of getting used to the new meds, getting used to a new schedule, basically, with the podcasts and, trying to get through all of the headaches that I was having. And so my mood had plummeted quite a few times. It wasn't necessarily like the greatest of time for my mental health, but during this month, it came to light that I wasn't as cheery as I used to be, and that I always sent similar things of I'm not feeling the best today or I have a headache. And because of all of that, I wasn't, they couldn't handle that because it was bringing their mood down quite a bit. And because of that, they just didn't want to talk to me anymore. And essentially they just couldn't handle the idea of friendship, because like during those times, like you, regardless of how it's making you feel, you still help them. And it's not like something that was, it's not like you're giving advice to something that's like continuously hurting them. Like there's something else that's happening that's causing all of this. And I took it the hardest because of the fact that this person had always talked about never truly having like friendships. And then when they did have the friendships, they like didn't last long. And they always talked about how they had never understood why. And it's like, you the problem. Because support is key in friendship. When shit goes south,
They can't all be sunshine and rainbows. You have to be
yeah,
there for the good and the bad.
and it's not like, and it was something that like, it was medication that was making me go through all of these like ups and downs. And like I even apologized. I was like, yeah, I haven't been cheery, like these are the things that are happening. And even though they knew that, they were just like, yeah, well, I'm in a really good place in my life right now and I'm really happy, and I just don't want to like, do that or like have that anymore. So I was very bitter for a lot of August because I restrained myself. I didn't say things that I normally was saying or like I would have said, because I was like, okay, I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm just going to like not necessarily let it go, but admit that like, yeah, this has been a thing, and then go from there. And then I would try to change. Even if I didn't feel good, I would try to like, better the situation, better the conversations, friendship, whatever. And I was just getting like one-worded answers. Nothing, it didn't matter. It like the excuse I got for the reason, it just didn't matter. Like it didn't change anything. And that, I think that pissed me off even more. So I was bitter that I took the high road. So I made a pact that I was going to avoid them, because I knew if I didn't avoid them, I was going to say some select words that would probably, honestly, I would have them rethinking a lot of their life choices. And technically at this point, because I had stepped down at PetSmart, they were technically my boss, and I still kind of needed this second job. So like I was like, all right, well, I'm not going to go into work when they're there, and I'm also not going to work the nights that they work. So
Yep.
It's fine because I got vindicated later on in life.
It's all good. So,
but yeah, so
my August 2025 is the 9 of Wands reversed and the 3 of Wands reversed, which woo!
My August is the 5 of Wands and the High Priestess. I have they're both upright.
September 2024, I got the Emperor. It's a masculine card for the greater good, thinking, chance to grow in terms of goals, successful future if you pursue your goals methodically and strategically. You might be maybe have been put in charge of something important. Honestly, once I made it through August, I felt like I could breathe a little bit, especially at work. And a little bit at home too. I still was having some grief and a lot of anxiety about the future. Not job wise or relationship wise, but politically and like just the country in general, the future of everything. And I really threw myself into work at that time. I started working on things that are hard for me, like having hard conversations and really being a leader and making sure that I was being honest with my staff and pushing them to be their best. And then we also went on our vacation to South Carolina, visited with Emily and Squilliam, which has nothing to do with this card, but it was a great time. So I had to mention it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mentioned it in my card too. So the Queen, for September, I got the Queen of Wands reverse. So this card signifies a lack of confidence, self-esteem, or a feeling of being burnt out, suggesting you might be neglecting your own needs, and failing to tap into your inner power and enthusiasm for projects or life in general. So the excess of my July finally hit me full force this month, and I hadn't taken any time to myself. I had essentially worked 2 jobs. I had focused on, the podcast, the acting, and I hadn't taken any time to be just there for myself and myself alone. Like Will was working long hours. So not that I was like alone by any means, but like he wouldn't come home until like 9 or 10 o'clock almost every single night. I tried to focus on him on the weekends because like we just didn't get time together. So like I was just feeling very neglected, it seems like, whether it was from myself or from like personal like relationships, whatever. I just felt like neglected. And the and like September was busy. Obviously, we had visitors come down. We had shit happening at work. We had I had another job, all of that kind of stuff. And that obviously didn't help, but we did take a long weekend for when Brandy visited, and we, got to relax and enjoy things. And it was fun because Will also, like, during that time went and applied to a new job, and he ended up getting it. And it's great because I see him so much now. And so like with Brandy visiting and like Will getting a new job, I actually felt a lot better about everything, and felt ready to go in for the new month.
I love it. And Squilliam discovered that new cornbread that he's obsessed with now. That
Oh
he
my God, when my
probably
dad
forgot about and will remember when he listens to this episode and be like, oh my God, I need to go to that place and get that cornbread.
So when my dad visited, we were actually like right next door to it. And I was like, hey, I know this place. And he goes, cornbread. So he went in and he was like, okay, it's gonna be like 10 minutes. And I like looked down and was like, you ordered cornbread? And he goes, yeah, I ordered cornbread. You want to go get the car and bring everyone down this way and come back and pick me up? It should be ready. And I was like, okay. So so we went back to the house, and he literally cut pieces of the cornbread for everybody and had everybody try it, and they were like, yeah, this is pretty good. And he's like, I know.
It was really good cornbread.
Yeah.
What was it? Poogan's Porch? Is that what that place was called?
Poogan's Porch is what we had for breakfast. It was Poogan's steak or smokehouse.
That's right. It was the same as Poogan, though. Poogan is a dog, which we're not going to go into all that right now. That's a story for another time. But my September 2025 cards are Eight of Swords reversed and Queen of Cups upright, which are bringing a little more hope into my
2025.
My 2025 after the August cards that I
got. So I actually had the King of Cups upright for September.
Nice. Okay, October 2024. I had my deck of cards that I was using last year. The card was called Karma. In the typical Rider-Waite deck, I think it's called Judgment. It focuses on the moment when we reflect and have clear understanding of where we are, where we need to grow, doing self-reflection, or already in the act of self-reflection, and a clear idea of what to do to be true to yourself. These can be small changes or huge changes. October was another rough month. It was good at work. I was reflecting, setting myself clear goals, how to be a better leader. I was having hard conversations, making small changes here and there to work towards being the kind of leader I wanted to be. October was very rough financially and emotionally. One of our cats was very sick and in a rapid decline. He started to kind of seemed like he was coming back to himself, and then the other one ate something he shouldn't have and got an obstruction. We spent tons of money trying to figure out what was wrong with him. He fully recovered because he was able to pass whatever it was, but then oh my god, then it doesn't get any easier.
No, it doesn't.
We had to make the decision to let my sweet precious boy go. And I went into a grief spiral that I am clearly not out of. And I actually wrote that in my notes, so that is not just because me saying that because I'm crying right now. So October was rough. Work-wise, I feel like I followed this card. Personally, I did finally get into the doctor and get a change to my medications. And started taking some vitamins that have really helped with my mental health and with my energy levels. But I definitely let myself go into a deep, dark place in October. And it also didn't help that in addition to that happening, that the election was coming up. Like the election was at the beginning of November, and I was really having some serious anxiety about that. And yeah, so that was my October 2024. It's not great. It's actually kind of sorry.
No, you're good.
It's
I was
kind
gonna
of
say it was rough for you.
Crazy too now, just looking at my notes and seeing that the deck that I was using happened to use the name Karma for the judgment card, because our sweet girl that we lost a few years ago was another cat. Her name was Karma. So for that card to come up for the same month that I lost Kemper seems a little poetic.
Yeah, because they were best buds, right?
Yeah.
So my October, I had Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is all about the daily tasks and responsibility that one has to gain through a specific project. This knight has the patience to accomplish all his given duties and is considered by others reliable and committed to his work. To see this card is an indication that there is a need to be trustworthy and reliable. So because of, last month, I was able to come into this month recharged, ready to focus on things. I felt comfortable in my finances. I was ready to say fuck you to PetSmart. My last day was the beginning of the month, and so I was ready to focus on my side businesses. I was ready to put more focus on my podcast, my voice acting career, all of that kind of stuff. I reinstated my membership to an audition site. And I just tried to keep everything organized and available, or easily available, I guess. So like if an audition were to pop up, I can immediately like go to it, grab it, and go without feeling overwhelmed later on. I was just trying to keep my ADHD brain from floundering later on. But I was able to, be that responsible one for everything. Like we took a few weeks off for Brandy to help with her mental health. and to deal with the death of everything around. So I was able to kind of take charge of that and find episodes and all of that to help get through a few of our episodes and plan and, get ready to make it easier to come back when we were ready and able to. So
yeah,
felt good.
Which I very much appreciated.
Yeah. I got you.
My October 2025, I have Ace of Pentacles upright.
What's really weird is August I had the Five of Wands upright, but this time I have the Five of Wands reversed.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. 2 more months left.
Yes. This is a really long episode. I hope you're sticking with us, guys. Hi, Brittany. I know you're still here.
Will's so far behind. I'm not even going to say hi to him.
November 2024. I had the King of Wands. It's a card of action. Making the decisions already made. We're taking action and tackling challenges. It's kicking ass time. That's what I wrote in my notes. Working hard and putting this self-reflection to good use. So I said, wow, this was pretty spot on. I started putting my new goals and skills to use, becoming the leader I wanted to be. Had a few bumps where I had people angry at me, cussing me out, calling me all types of names for enforcing rules and holding them accountable. But I kept pushing through and I felt better afterwards because I stood my ground and did what needed to be done. And actually, since I've done these notes, we did a thing at work where everyone took a card and wrote a card to someone in the agency who had an effect or an impact on them. And one of the people that called me all types of names for holding her accountable wrote me a card. So that was really special because even though we went through that bump, she still knows that I'm there for her and that I'm going to help her through it. So that was good. Also, this month, the election happened, and I started to be real with people in my personal life and my professional life, but more in my personal life, about how I felt. And I chose not to go to multiple family Thanksgiving events. And Brittany and I both were very honest with those family members about how we felt we had different values. And in an effort to protect ourselves, we were going to not put ourselves in a situation. So that also kind of aligned with this card in my personal life for that November of 2024.
Nice. Grabbing cards and pop. So November, it was a weird month for me. So November I had the Chariot. This card is about overcoming challenges and gaining victory through maintaining control of your surroundings. This perfect control and confidence allows the charioteer to emerge victorious in any situation. The use of strength and willpower are critical in ensuring that you overcome the obstacles that lie in your path. The Chariot's message comes to make you stronger as you strive to achieve your goals. So the beginning part of this month was very there was a bunch of success in this month. I finished season 1 of Leo Braun. I
still haven't listened to the finale. I can't wait.
It's part 2. There's 2 parts. I'm not gonna lie though, when I listened to part 2, I was listening, I was like, who the fuck is that character? Who's voicing that person? I feel like I know who that person is. It was me. I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, I was on my way to work and I just grabbed my forehead and I was like, oh, that's me. Not that it was bad or anything. I was very proud of it, but it was just In fact, I forgot. It's just like, oh. And it was only like 3 or 4 lines. Like, it was a very, hey, I need someone to pick this up kind of like character. And I was like, yeah, sure. What do you want? And then they told me, and I was like, all right, cool. And that was it. But I was annoying. Like, I was that annoying person. I was like, oh God, I'm so sick, tired of hearing this. And it's so funny to hear like the other character, like the way they talk to my character. And I'm sitting there like, it just added to the scene, and it was good. So I was very proud of it. But not only did I finish season 1 of that, I actually ended up booking a very big project. And it's going to come out next year. I also got so the director of Leo Braun had asked me to essentially work with him and the star of Leo Braun, the voice actor Stitch Mainville, who is Leo Braun, to be we're both like the main characters in another story that he's writing up. So I was like, that's amazing. I love it. And then I started like getting more and more confident in myself, and I felt like a girl boss a lot. I felt like a girl boss at home. I felt like a girl boss at my job. I felt like I was like on it and in it to win it for like, you know, voice acting. Like a lot of the stuff that I had ended up opening up a huge network of connections and you know, possible work for the future, and I just felt very, very confident. And it was cool. I felt like I was taking control of what I want in my future, and it's like it's weird to think back on it, because it's like I remember last year wanting what I have now. And it's pretty dope to see that in like 6 months or less I ended up, you know, getting a lot of it, or getting like a major milestone in it, I guess, for some of my skill.
Yeah, you did. Woo!
Yeah, now I get to play an autistic woman, and it's gonna be great. I even asked the person, I was like, does the fact that she has autism have anything to do with anything? Like, is there like a major part? And they were like, yes and no. It kind of helps you understand why she is the way that she is, but also like, I don't know, you kind of like, it makes you not feel like he's like, it doesn't make you feel like stupid, but like if you have like that added factor into it, it makes more sense. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when I read the season 1 or the episode 1, I was like, oh,
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good. It's another horror based one. So,
all right. So my November 2025 is going to be the 7 of Cups reversed.
Yeah. My November 25 is the Emperor reversed.
Okay. December 2024, we're still technically in that, but I have the 8 of Cups reversed. The meaning is confusion, not being sure what path to take, not knowing what's best, maybe being aware of what the decision needs to be made or what needs to be done, but something is stopping you from doing that, being in limbo, stuck between decisions, just basically being unsure. And yeah, I predicted in the last year's episode when we were doing this that it probably had something to do with family and the holidays. And I was spot on with that prediction. I really am struggling with the decision on what to do with holiday celebrations with family. I've made a decision of what I'm going to do at this point, but I don't feel great about that decision. So there is at least one dinner that we are just not going to. We're choosing not to put ourselves in that position. There is another that we are going to go to, but I'm very nervous about it. And worried that something is going to come up that's going to make us uncomfortable or make me feel some type of way. And our plan is to leave at that point. regardless of what point of the celebration we are in, regardless of if we've had dinner, if we've done the white elephant, doesn't matter. We're going to be out.
You walk in 5 minutes later. All right, we're out. Bye.
Honestly, though, like that might be the case. I am not fucking around this year. I will not continue to hold myself in a space. I will at first try to put up a boundary and be like, that's just not a discussion we should have. Let's try to have a great time together. But knowing some of my family, they might double down. And at that point, I will be leaving. I am not going to keep myself in a space where I feel uncomfortable or marginalized, especially because if I am feeling uncomfortable or attacked, I know that Brittany is going to be feeling it even more. So I am having a lot of anxiety about it. And I feel like I probably should have made the opposite choice and just chosen not to go because of that. But with this being the first Christmas since Grandma passed, I feel like I can't do that to my mom. So we are going to go, but I'm going to be holding some very tight boundaries in that situation.
And that's going to help you a lot too.
Yeah.
So my December, obviously we're still in December, but the end of November, my dad had visited, and it's not that I have like a bad relationship with my dad. It's just like I close myself up emotionally when it comes to family, when it comes to Indiana. Like it's not healthy, but I tend to just, oh, forgot, sorry, kind of thing. But I forget on purpose. Like I try not to remember, kind of thing. And he was visiting with my aunt and uncle. And he was only here for like a weekend, based on timing and all of that. But it was, I don't know, I just felt anxious. And he visited the week before Thanksgiving. So like, and I didn't take any time off prior or after other than Thanksgiving. So my nerves were just shot. And so December I had the Hero Fund. And that is embrace the conventional, for it suggests that you have a certain desire to actually follow a process which has been well established. It also suggests that you want to stay within certain conventional bounds of what could be considered an orthodox approach. So instead of being innovative, you will be adapting to certain beliefs and systems which are already put in place and are existing. The fact that I got this card as an Aquarius is hilarious because I am not one for the typical. But with everything that was happening in November and like just December being a busy month in work and personal life, and then just struggling with like the feelings and trying to shake the anxiety of everything, I decided that I was going to take a more steady approach to the end of the year. Not that it was going to be like I was going to make it chill where I wasn't going to do anything. I was just going to focus on myself. I was just going to let it be. Like I was going to take a more I'm not going to try to force things. I'm just going to go with the flow. And I planned on not taking any major chances during this month, because I didn't want to cause more stress or drama or anything to end my 2024. So there's no real specific event. It was just one of those like, all right, going with the flow has been established since the beginning of time, letting fate happen. I'm just gonna sit in the moment and try to keep the overall vibe stress-free as much as I can. And then my fish fucking died. So, I know, I was quite sad. We went to the Ashley River. and sent him off, and then he started floating, and then I tried to push him out to sea, but the stick I used was so fucking dry. He stuck to it, and I was like,
oh no.
so then I was like, ah! And I like kind of like threw it out, and I like looked at Will, and I'm just like splotchy and red and crying. I'm like, my poor Eugene. It's only been 6 months, if that, and I have gotten so fucking attached to that fish. He just had this cute little personality, and Will's like, we gotta do right by our kid. We need to bury him. We need to give him a proper send-off. How do you want to do that? And I was like crying because I was like, he loved when I filled up the tank with water because he would ride the wave. He would ride it, and then he would just be an asshole, and then he'd just come back and be fine. And Will's like, okay, well, let's go put him in the river. That way he can ride the wave one last time. And I was like,
Oh.
so we did. And I was like, okay, I just got to think about it. He had a terrible accident that there's nothing I could do. There's nothing like I did wrong that like made him have this. Like I tried my hardest to keep him better and happy and healthy at the end. Like I tried my hardest to save him. I ultimately don't know what ended it. It could have been stress. It could have been like pain from like the accident. It just could have been something. And so I don't know. It could have been the emergency tank I put him in. There was just like a lot of like, it could be this, could be that. But I tried. Co-pilot was this fucking kept saying, you're doing everything you can possible. And I was like, thanks.
Oh my gosh.
You're AI, but you're helping. But in the end, I was like, okay, kind of going with the flow mentality. I sat there and I was like, okay, this is the pagan way. Not necessarily like he's gone to heaven or anything, but like I'm giving him back to earth. Yeah, and if a fish eats him, I'm helping somebody else, or I'm helping something else out, and then ultimately it will come back around. If not, he will, become one with the water, sand, rocks, whatever. That's fine. Like whatever it is, I ultimately gave back. And I was like, okay, we're gonna go home and I'm gonna eat my feelings and we're gonna watch Harry Potter. And that's what we did.
Yeah.
And then I took a nap and then that was it. So I'm keeping my December stress-free.
I like it. So December 2025, I have 9 of Pentacles. So
2 popped out. Technically like 17 popped out and I just took the top 2. So I got Page of Pentacles reversed and the 10 of Swords upright.
Okay. So
and that's how
tune in next
2025 is going to end.
Yeah. Tune in to the next episode about our year 2025, our year in tarot 2025 to learn what these cards mean.
Yay. Until next time.
Bye.